Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. O Lord, please bless us so that we shall move from unreality to the reality, from darkness to light, and from mortality to the immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, as you all know, we were discussing Ashtanga Yoga. These are the 8 limbs of yoga. Here, yoga is Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So, as already told in my first class itself, this Ashtanga Yoga was meant for the preliminary spiritual practitioners. For the mediocre people, it was Kriya Yoga, and for the Uttama Adhikaris, for the best spiritual aspirants, the only two things was told for them: Abhyasa and Vairagya. That is practice and detachment. Now we were seeing the part of this Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs of yoga. We had seen what is Yama and what is Niyama. So both constitutes the control of mind and control of senses. And especially in my previous class, what is Niyama we had seen in detail. The 5 limbs of Niyama we had discussed: Ahimsa, Satya, Aparigraha, Brahmacharya, and all. Here, Patanjali makes a very beautiful mention. Patanjali and other commentators in the due course of time, they say, there is a Sanskrit saying, Prayojanam anuddishya mandopi na pravartate. If there is no use, even the foolest, the best among the fools, he or she doesn't work. So probably keeping this in the mind, even the Patanjali is telling, look, after said, after explaining this niyama, probably a thought might have come to his mind. By practicing this such a disciplined, difficult disciplines, what I am going to get. So here he tries to explain. By following ahimsa, non-injury, for 12 years completely, in the word, in the thought, and in the deed, what happens? Vairatyaga happens. The same story, this is same thing we can see in the life of Pavahari Baba. He was one of the saint in the 19th century in India. He was in the northern part of India near Kashi or Banaras. There, when he was staying there, the snake and the rats both were drinking the milk from the same container. Just you can imagine. Snake, if it sees rat, immediately it catches it, grasps, and it eats, isn't it? But whereas the snake and the rats both were staying friendly and they were drinking, consuming the milk from the same container or from the same plate. So Vairatyaga, peace and harmony is completely established. So even a sinner comes, a person who has followed this ahimsa for 12 years completely in toto, even if the sinner comes, his sin will be lost. His sinful thoughts he will lose. He will not have any power of his sinful thoughts and he becomes so docile. So the animals, like for an example, deer and lion can live together peacefully with harmony with such type of people. So such an amount of magnetic effect is created by a person who has practiced ahimsa, non-injury for 12 years in toto, not partially, that we have to understand, completely in thought, word, and deed. Then satya, practicing the truth. So practicing the truth for 12 years again in toto, what happens? Kriya phala ashraya bhavati, they say, means whatever he speaks, it gets it done. We can see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever he is to say, it is to happen. Say, for an example, once he said to Mathurnath Vishwas, the temple owner, he was a rich landlord. While they were discussing, Sri Ramakrishna said, if God wills, anything can happen. Then Mathur questioned. Of course, today the grafting and because of crossing and all, we do many things. But natural in the natural process, he had asked if in the red hibiscus flower, in the red hibiscus flower plant, can the white hibiscus can come? Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, if God wills, it can happen. Why not? Then they had a discussion. I mean, the discussion, it stopped and went. And the next day morning, after finishing his ablutions, probably when Sri Ramakrishna was going towards Panchavati, or he was going towards Mother's temple, he saw a white flower and red flower in the same branch of a hibiscus plant. Immediately he broke that branch along with the branch because he wanted to show with proof. Along with the branch, he took the branch to to Mathurnath Vishwas' room. He said, look here. Yesterday we had a discussion. I had said that if God wills, why not? Even the white hibiscus can blossom in the red hibiscus, in the red hibiscus plant, and it had happened. So the person who has spoke truth completely, toto, for 12 years, then whatever he says, it will become. So such an amount of power he or she gets. And without any efforts, without any actions, all their desires and wishes are fulfilled. Say, for an example, a person who has practiced 12 years of truth and he wishes to have a probably in the present day language, if you want me to ask, then he wishes to have a BMW car. Say, for an example. Yes, in no time, without asking, without making any effort, somehow he gets a BMW car. And if he wishes, probably he would like to go to America. If he wishes really, yes, even his will be done without asking, when unasked. So that much power a person gets. Then celibacy. A person who practices celibacy completely for 12 years, what happens? All the truths, universal truths, will be flashed into him. Say, for an example, he wants to realize what is the secret behind this earth, behind this creation. If he wants to wish, if he wishes to know it, yes, it is revealed to him. Who am I? What is my real nature? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Am I this intellect? Or am I this self or consciousness? So, Shastras or scriptures are telling that I am consciousness. So, he wants to know, he wishes to know, and if he tries to know, yes, he will be able to. All the subtlest truths, whatever has been discussed in the scriptures, all the truths will be a matter of experience. A person who practices celibacy continues completely for 12 years. Then same thing, asteya vyasin, means non-stealing, not accepting whatever doesn't belong to him. Such a person, if he practices that for 12 years, what happens? The whole wealth of the world will come and fall at his feet. Same thing we can see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever is required for him, without his asking, he is to get. As soon as he took birth, he was born in a poor family, poor Brahmin family. We all know that. Even a square meal was difficult in their house. But as soon as he was born, Sri Ramakrishna's uncle, maternal uncle, he sent a cow, milching cow. So there was no problem for the milk in the house. And the whole village, somehow they were attracted towards this Gadai, the Sri Ramakrishna's childhood name. So they used to bring sweets and they used to bring so much food materials and they used to leave for Gadai, our child Sri Ramakrishna. Means they wanted to feed him. So though he was born in a poor family, there was no problem at all for him. So similarly, during his sadhana time, what he wanted, he had performed a lot of spiritual practices, some tantric practices or some Vaishnava practices. There was a few materials were required. Even without asking, mother used to provide, or through Mathurnath Vishwas, or through Ramchandra Datta, or maybe with Surendranath Mishra, like that. With the devotees, somehow he used to get unasked. The whole wealth was at his feet. Even this Mathurnath Vishwas asked, whatever you want to ask, I would like to give. Thousands of rupees, and maybe few acres of land, and few a part of his property. Everything he was ready to give, but he never asked for anything else. Because who practices asteya, then the whole world's wealth will be at his feet. Probably that is also a symbolical representation of Narayana is sleeping on the serpent, and the mother, goddesses, Mother Lakshmi, she is pressing at his feet. Means he is the Lord of the wealth. The whole wealth, whatever we aspire or admire, it is at his feet. Then the fifth one, the fifth limb of Niyama, we had seen aparigraha. Aparigraha means not accepting gifts unnecessarily, or not accepting the gifts whatever is more than necessity. I need maybe two or three pairs of clothes for me enough. Now, fourth pair or fifth pair, if someone wants to give, wishes to give, I will say no. Sorry, I've got already three pairs of clothes. That is enough. So I don't want. That's the one thing. And not accepting the gifts from anyone and everyone. Some people might have cheated people. I mean, a person has cheated someone and he has got lot of wealth and he wants to help you because you are a holy man. So by helping you, I will get some punya. So with that intention, a person is coming and giving some gifts to you. If so, if you know that he's of bad conduct, bad character, then we should not say. I mean, take the gifts from such people. Again, Sri Ramakrishna's father, Kshudiram, used to practice this very strictly. If anyone wants to come and give the gifts, is to make sure that a person's conduct or character, personality is right. It is he is ethical man, he is a rightful man. Then only is to accept the gifts, and if at all, if it is necessary. Otherwise, with very gently, is to reject the offer or reject the alms. Though he never had any money in the house, they were poor and a square meal was difficult. But in spite of that, he used to never accept the gifts from the unethical people, immoral people. Even we can see Saryam Vishveshwaraya. He was one of the best among the engineers in India, and a lot of dams and roads, many things were built under his supervision. He's called M. Vishveshwaraya. He's from Karnataka. Once he visited USA. This story I'm telling 100 years before, a century year before story I'm telling, more or less. He visited USA. He had taken probably Indian way of clothes, of course, with a pant and shirts, no doubt. But because for some function, he had to get a coat. He didn't have a proper coat, so he went to a particular tailor shop and he ordered for the getting stitched a coat. And measurement was given. The tailor said, "You come on such and such a time, it will be ready." Then he went, and for his astonishment, the coat was ready on time, and he asked probably $8. Saram Vishwesharaya was very happy. He maintained the time, and at the same time, it was so neat and tidy, and it was so fit enough. It was, I mean, very good work. He appreciated his job, Tyler's job, and he gave $10 and he left the place. And he went with that coat and he finished his meeting and he finished his supper or dinner and he's resting in the room. Someone knocked at the door. Then Vishweshwara was thinking at this late night, who is there? Because in US, I don't know anyone. It was very strange. Probably initially he thought whether should I open the door or not. But anyhow, let me see. Thinking, Saram Vishwesharaya opened the door. For his astonishment, he saw the tailor. Then Saram Vishwesharaya asked, "What brings you here at this late night?" Then Tyler said, "Sir, you paid me $2 more at the because when you came in shop, many people were there. Somehow it went unnoticed. So I wanted to return you back two more dollars. That is the reason I came here." Vishweshwarya was astonished to hear this and he said, "Look, it is not that you forgot or you didn't give, so I came back without knowing or without asking. Because you done your work so nicely in the time, in the very less time, and the proficiency in your work, it was something notable. That is the reason as a tips I gave probably two more dollars for you. It is not that just I left the money or you didn't give the money. So it is for you only. Please take back the money. Please keep it with yourself." But the teller said, "No, sir. My charge, I have said, is $8. I only owe $8. The two more dollars I don't owe. It is not my money. It is yours money. I don't want. Your Swami is saying that he returned the $2 for him, thanked Sir M. Vishweswaraya, and he left. It was a great lesson Sir M. Vishweswaraya tells in his biography or in his life. He tells it was one of the great lessons, shocking lesson for him. Even such a common people who is a tailor, he has got such a sense of morality. Just $2 probably to give back $2, he might have spent $3, $4 for traveling in the bus or whatever, but he never minded for that. Such a high sense of morality. This can be one best practice of aparigraha. One who practices such aparigraha, the whole wealth of the world will come and fall at his feet. So these are the five niyamas, five parts of niyama we had seen in the previous class. By practicing one, what we are going to achieve. Now, similarly, in the yama also, five limbs of yama we know. The first one was shaucha, purification of the body, purification of the mind, and purification of thoughts. All these things, cleanliness and purification of the body, mind, thoughts, everything comes under shaucha. By practicing, what happens? One is our health will become nice and we can be peaceful, we can be hale and hearty most of the times. More than that, the Shastras, the scriptures say, by maintaining at least even external cleanliness of the body properly, it may take some amount of time, some amount of energy, and sometimes it can be head boggling too. But by practicing the cleanliness, what happens? Slowly, slowly, attachment to the body, to this physical body, is completely removed, it seems. By practicing shaucha in a rightful way, attachment to the body is removed. Attachment to the body for most of us, it is very, very difficult. Because it's the body which, from my birth to death, my body alone travels with me. My relatives, friends, family people, everything, everyone leaves me at some point of time. At least from my birth to death, what comes all along is this body, the physical body. And we have got a lot of attachment to the physical body, most of us. So that attachment will go away by maintaining the cleanliness of the body, it seems. And you maintain the cleanliness of your mind at thought level, at emotional levels. What happens? Purification of the mind is attained, as achieved, and you'll become fit to have a God realization. Then santosha. Santosha means it is not happiness, it is contentment, I already said. By practicing contentment, what happens? Great joy and peace and bliss is attained by a person. I may have thousands of euros. It is not that, but I am contented. And it is not that I am happy at all times. It is not that I am always joyful, blissful, and peaceful. No. Everyone has got their own problems, everyone has got their own challenges, everyone has got their own worries. How much ever I may be a poor person or a mediocre or a person who has got enough riches, millionaire or billionaire, yes, but he has got his own worries. Probably sometimes the richest people have got more worries, of course. But who practices contentment, he gets joy, peace, and bliss at all times, at all given circumstances. Then tapas, austerities. One who practices austerities, of course, three types of austerities at the physical level, at the mental level, and at the speech level. We had seen by practicing this, what happens? The body, the mind, and the senses becomes pure, and it will be easy for to have a control over the mind. That is the reason in Bhagavatam they say yogasya pratamad varam vang nirodhanam. The first step of yoga and means spiritual practice is control of the speech. Control of the speech means it is not that observing silence. Control of the speech means it is not that always speaking and it is not that not speaking at all. No, it is a regulated speech. How much ever is required, that much only we should speak with anyone or with any given circumstance. That have a regulated speech. That's what we mean. Then swadhyaya. Swadhyaya has got three types of meanings or three shades of meaning we had seen. One is swadhyaya is studying scriptures. The second shade of meaning of swadhyaya is understanding oneself. And the third shade of meaning of swadhyaya is mantra japa, that is repetition of the Lord's name, a repetition of the pranava, onkara, a repetition of Gayatri mantra, a repetition of any prayers. This is called swadhyaya. By doing that, what happens? One will have the vision of the divinity, or one will have the experience of the chosen deity or the divine. That is what is achieved by Swadhyaya. Then the last limb of the Yama was Ishvara Pranidhana. The Ishvara Pranidhana is given utmost importance in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Ishvara Pranidhana means what? Surrendering ourselves to the divine will, or devotion towards the God or to the higher spirit or supreme spirit. Once that is done, the mukti, that is self God realization, or samadhi, the experience of transcendental reality, is attained. By practicing Ishvara Pranidhana alone, one can attain God realization or self realization. That is what has been told by Patanjali in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So that's why in the Kriya Yoga means what? Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. So this is the one of the shortcut method in the spiritual practice. Tapas is austerity, and Swadhyaya means what I have told already. Ishvara Pranidhana is devotion to the Lord. If these three things are practiced intensely, by these three alone, one can have God realization. One can have self-realization. One can attain the samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi or savikalpa samadhi, we say. These things can be attained. And once Swami Brahmanandaji, the first president of Ramakrishna Mutt and Mission, who was also a Manasaputra of Sri Ramakrishna, a disciple asked Swami Brahmanji, Maharaj, how can we awaken our Kundalini Shakti? He says, by doing Nama Japa, by repeating the Lord's name, by devoting yourself to the Lord, one can have the Samadhi and one can awaken the Kundalini Shakti. So Kundalini Shakti means there are a lot of spiritual practices and yogic practices, Kundalini Yoga, and all we say that. And there are some problems and some dangers are also there in that, no doubt. But one who practices Nama Japa sincerely with devotion, even by just Nama Japa, one can awaken their Kundalini and even Kumbhaka. Kumbhaka is attained, they say. Second point. And the third is Samadhi or Moksha or Mukti is also attained just by Nama Japa, taking the Lord's name. After this, the Patanjali also discusses a very important point when you listen Yama and Niyama, and what are the basic spiritual practices for us, we have understood. And by practicing them for a long time, what we are going to attain has been understood. Now, what can be the obstacles? This is all fine, this is all nice to hear, fine. But what are the obstacles? What is making us to stop from this, if you ask? They say, because of laziness, because of wrong thoughts, or because of pride and prejudice. All these things can stop practicing yama and niyama. So we should control this by practicing vitarka bhadane or pratipaksha bhavana. Pratipaksha bhavana means what? Say, for an example, I am getting a bad thought. No, I don't want bad thought. Now, if I say I don't want bad thought, I don't want bad thought, I don't want bad thought, it doesn't go. Maybe a fraction of second or a few minutes, it may be, but afterwards it creeps in. So to check it, to remove it, they say that you induce good thought. By inducing good thought, bad thoughts will go away, or the strength of the bad thoughts will be diminished or will be reduced slowly. So this is called vitarka bhavana. Whatever you don't want, you try to do opposite. For example, when we were studying in the 8th or 9th standard, we did with one of our friend. He had so much fear for the darkness. Whenever we used to go evening, some playing and all, sometimes, oh, I will not go there, I will not come there because there's a darkness and all, in the fields and especially. How much ever we used to tell, come, we are here, don't worry, we are there, we are in group, don't worry, nothing happens, nothing happens. But somehow he had a lot of fear, very strongly had a fear towards darkness. He used to avoid all that. Once some of our we friends, we had made a plan and we said, we have to teach a lesson for him, this guy. And we said, look, there is a light, and there was a light in the big field, and we went and we were playing, and we had made a plan, and we told the particular person, when we start playing, then you put off the light. We started playing, and that particular person had put off the light. There is a complete darkness, and he wanted to run away. We all caught him, and we threatened him. Look, we are all going. You alone, you should be here till our calling or till light coming. If you go away, we will beat you black and blue, like that. Nicely, we threatened him, and we all of us left, running. And he shouted, he screamed, he abused us, he scolded us with all the possible bad language because he was angry and he was annoyed and all. It went for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Slowly, the intention came down. After 5 or 10 minutes, then we put on the light, and we were nearby only actually. Then he was there. Then we started making him to understand. Look, 5 10 minutes there were no one, none of us. We were near you, and there was no light. There was complete darkness, but nothing happened to you. Then why do you fear, my dear? Like that, we try to console him, and slowly he understood, and in no time, slowly he was able to win over the fear of darkness. So this is what called pratipaksha bhavana. If he has got a problem with the bad thoughts, good thoughts should be done. If you have got a problem with the anger, the patience, through patience, you can have a control over the anger. If you got a problem over fear of darkness, then having a confidence and going into the darkness only is the way, is the solution. This is called Pratibhaksha Bhavana. From these Pratibhaksha Bhavana, we should be able to control over all the unnecessary things, which can be the obstacle for to practice yama and niyama according to Patanjali. Now, the important part is asana, yogasana. Today, either in the India or in the East or West, yoga means it has become all yogasanas, that is, exercises. Of course, we need that. It has got a lot of tremendous benefits at the physical health and the mental health also, no doubt, and also it is conducive to spiritual health also. But if you see the Patanjali Yoga Sutra properly, Patanjali Yoga Sutra never explain, never teaches the way today, whatever the yogasanas we are teaching and the way we are trying to understand, the way the yoga teachers are today explaining. Why the yoga asana was prescribed in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra? He gives simple one definition: Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Sthiram, steady, Sukham, comfortable, Asanam, posture. For example, I would like to sit for meditation. I will sit in a swastikasana, or I will sit in a vajrasana, or I will sit in a ardha padmasana, or I will sit in a padmasana. Yes, if I can sit in that same posture steadily, without any discomfort, without any pain, for long hours, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, 4, 5 hours, if I can sit comfortably, then I have got asana siddhi. I have got a mastery over the asana. That's all they were saying. So yoga asanas, it is part of Hatha Yoga, then Geranda Samhita and Hatha Yoga. I think Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Hatha Yoga Pradipika. So these yogasanas, most of the yogasanas were part of Geranda Samhita and Hatha Yoga Pradipika. So this we have to understand. So according to the Patanjali, why he had introduced this asana concept, the concept of asana in the Ashtanga Yoga, we have to understand very clearly. One of the senior monk of Ramakrishna order, Swami Yatishwaranji Maharaj, was known as Brahmagnani, the knower of Brahman. He used to sit for lecture in Bangalore, maybe Sundays mostly. And the lecture was not like us, the lecture where I give 45 minutes to 1 hour. His lectures used to go for 3 hours. And he used to sit in the cross-legged for 3 hours. He used to sit very steadily, most of the time with closed eyes, and he used to take class for 3 hours. For 3 hours, he never used to shake his body mostly, and he never used to change his legs or posture. Just 3 hours with steadily, with all comfort, without any discomfort. He used to sit for 3 hours and used to give lecture. How is it possible? Because of asana siddhi. Same thing we had seen. The people who have seen him, they used to say, evening 6:30 used to sit in the prayer hall. He used to come and sit for meditation at 6:30 and 8:30, 6:30 or 6:45 he used to come, and 8:30 he used to get up. And at so much time, he never used to shake his body, he never used to change his posture, he never changes to legs or anything, just used to sit in the same way for that complete time and used to sit for meditation. This is what asana siddhi. So asana was told in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is only to have a steady posture, steady and with comfortable posture, so that one can sit for meditation for long time. One can sit for spiritual practice long time. Now the question may come for all of us, why is it required? Simple. When we go to a forest like where there is absolute calmness, there is no disturbance at all externally. There is no external disturbance. If you see and you go there, immediately in no time, if you stay for 1 or 2 hours slowly, you'll be able to understand easily. If you are conscious enough, if you're not busy with the external things, you'll be able to understand how much there is a restlessness in your mind. When you go to a place where there's no external disturbance, and when you sit or when you're doing some work, immediately you'll be able to understand how much there's a disturbance and the restlessness is there in your mind. Why? Because there is no external disturbance, so you are able to understand the internal disturbance. But if you are in the city, amidst of people going, coming, you are also going, coming, and so much noisy place. If so, if you are not conscious enough and well aware enough, then you will not be able to understand your mind, your mental noise, because there's so much noise outside. So similarly, I sit, and if I'm doing like this, and if I'm shaking my body and all, if there is so much shaky in the externally, in the physical level, then definitely mind cannot be concentrated on a desired object, on the single object. So this is very, very important. So the steadfastness, it is also very important. Now, I have got a willpower. So I put a Padmasana and I sat for a meditation for 1 hour. After half an hour, there is a ache in my leg. But because of sheer willpower, with a cross-legged, with a Padmasana, I'm trying to meditate. Since there is a body ache, so mind goes there, and again I will not be able to meditate, or I will not be able to concentrate it on the desired object. That's why they say it should be steady and it should be free from all type of discomfort. It should be comfortable. Steady and comfortable posture is called asana. To have to have such a mastery, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, in their Vyasa, given the commentary, while discussing the commentary, he has given few asanas. Maybe I think 15 or 20 names of the asanas has been prescribed. If you practice this, you will be physically fit. From that, you will have a steady and comfortable posture for meditation. So this is what asana, whole of the asana in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Today, whatever we say about yogasanas and different types of asanas, its benefit, etc., etc., it is not part of classical yoga philosophy. It is not part of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Rather, it is a part of Hatha Yoga. It is a part of Hatha Yoga Pradipika, or it is a part of Geranda Samhita that we have to understand. Now you have to understand, you should keep it very clearly. I am not against the yogasana. I'm not saying that you should not practice yogasanas and all. No. But what was the role of yogasana? You should be very clear. According to Patanjali, what is the role of yogasana? You should be clear. And the Patanjali, he classifies this Ashtanga yoga, this 8 limbs of yoga, into two major groups. One is called Bahiranga Sadhanani, external spiritual practices, and one is Antaranga Sadhanani, that is internal spiritual practices. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pratyahara. So, 5 things are the part of Bahiranga Sadhanani, external spiritual practices. Then Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, which we are supposed to discuss. These 3 are the part of internal spiritual practices. This is what has been described by Patanjali. One Swami Vivekananda was taking class on Indian psychology, probably a lecture on Indian psychology in the USA. think while discussing, he told, look, Hindu psychology is one of the best psychology. It is one of the oldest psychology and it is one of the best psychology, but not the Western psychology. Then an intellectual person immediately he got up and he challenged the Swami Vivekananda, said, do you mean that there is a Hindu psychology and which is very old, ancient, and forward, which has got much more better theory or advanced techniques than the Western psychology? How can you tell that? Do you substantiate? Swami Vivekananda said, yes, your Western psychology starts with sick mind and abnormal mind. When the mind is not normal, when the mind has got problem, when the mind is sick, that's why the psychology has started in you people. Even if you see the Sigmund Freud explanation of the personality, id, libid, ego, and all, that's what we see very clearly. And Swami Vivekananda says, the father of Hindu psychology or Indian psychology is Patanjali, that goes back 2500 BCE. And there it is with a very positive psychology. And there the Hindu psychology discusses about the positive nature of the mind, and rather it tries to make us to understand the supernormal mind and how we can attain or how can we reach that state called supernormal mind. But this fellow challenges, can you explain? Can you show it? And Swami Vivekananda starts explaining, and that's how he started taking Patanjali Yoga Sutra class for the Westerners 125 or 120, more than 125 years before. And when he started taking Patanjali Yoga Sutra class, many of the Western people, Western intellectuals, they got mesmerized by hearing this Patanjali Yoga Sutra or the Indian wisdom. And also they say, because Swami Vivekananda himself was the greatest yogi, he was the Dhyana Siddha, one who had established in the meditation. In no time his mind is to get into that transcendental meditation or the experience of the consciousness. So when he was explaining this Patanjali Yoga Sutras and all, many people had different experiences, yogic experiences, spiritual experiences, and they felt that awakening of Kundalini had happened for them. So many were moved and many were attracted and started following Swami Vivekananda because of his spiritual personality. Now, so what is asana? Asana means it is just posture. So what is posture? If you say stiram, sukham, asanam, which is motionless or steady and which has got comfortable, which is comfortable for us. Such type of posture, such type of particular posture is nothing but the asana according to the Patanjali. And same thing you can see in Shaolin. This is in the Chinese thing and all movies it comes. Shaolin, 36 chambers and all. There are a lot of practices they used to do. They used to walk on the water locks. They used to jump on the some walls and so many things they used to do. All that things. Why? Because they used to do all that just to control the body and mind. They wanted to make the body and mind fit enough so that they can sit for meditation. And again, that kung fu, whatever we say today, that kung fu went from India only actually. From India it went, and afterwards it took different shapes and it got advancement in China, no doubt. But unfortunately, afterwards it was used to kill the people, and the king started hiring this kung fu people who knew the kung fu or Shaolin chambers arts, and they used to probably used as a weapons or a threat to the other kings, to the other people and all. It took a different step, different direction basically. But if you study the history of that kung fu or Shaolin chambers, it started with what? To keep the strong body and strong mind so that we can meditate for long hours and will be able to have the self-realization or God relation in a Hindu psychology or Hindu philosophy. In Buddhist philosophy, it can be said as nirvana. So this perfection of asana means what? It should be comfortable, without any pain, with relaxation for long hours. It is not for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. No, it should be for 1 hour, 2, 5, 3, 5, 6 hours even. It should be comfortable, without any pain, with relaxation and with steadiness. These are the conditions. But definitely, when we start with even the cross-legged swastikasana or ardha padmasana, even for us 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes, we may get a leg ache or we get some problems. Yes, initially we will get, no doubt, but if you keep on practicing slowly, slowly, then we'll be able to have the mastery over the asana. And already I told the example of Swami Yatishwaranji Maharaj. 3 hours used to take a class with a crossed leg. There was no change in the posture, but simply is to keep on talking without changing the posture, with a steadfastness and with comfortable. Why? Because I had a asana siddhi. It had a mastery over the asana. How was it possible? Because of practicing yama and niyama. Terms and conditions apply. T and C apply always, I keep saying. So once one who has practiced yama and niyama, one who maintains good, I mean, asana style also, then only a person will be able to, achieve or attain this asana siddhi. It is not simply if you do yogasana for half an hour or 45 minutes or 1 hour, you'll be able to get asana siddhi. No. Control of the mind, control of the senses, control of the desires are also very much necessary for asana siddhi. And also, asana means exercise means it is not just mere to have the good body or to have a fit body, we should do it. That is the physical health, physical well-being is the very preliminary, fundamental thing which can be achieved by this yogic postures. But if you do with the mindfulness, if you observe your breathing and with that mindfulness, if you do, what will happen? The awareness and the consciousness will be increased, mindfulness will be increased, the restlessness of the mind will be controlled. Then a single thought can be achieved, a single thought process will be achieved in your mind. And with that consciousness, maybe I am conscious, I am the self, or I am the son of God, or with the God consciousness or with the self consciousness. If a person can practice these postures, what happens? Then his mind will be easy to control, and his mind will slowly, slowly, it will go to pranayama, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So again, these postures were meant for to have a asana siddhi is one thing, and second thing to have a control over the mind so that they will be able to sit for meditation, that is dhyana. So that was the intention of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Patanjali Maharshi, the sage Patanjali, bringing the concept of asana in the Ashtanga Yoga. So this we should be clear. So some more ideas we shall try to see about asana and then dharana, dhyana, samadhi in the next class. So at 6:30, we're having a wonderful program, Nivedita Naman, that is musical tribute to Sister Nivedita. Sister Nivedita, the Margaret Noble Irish lady, she did so much for India's regeneration. Say a great musician, Dattatreya Velankar, has come to give a musical concert on this today. And tomorrow also we have got 6 to 7 devotional music program. All of you can come to Sister Nivedita house here and participate in the program. Otherwise, YouTube link is there. You can participate, although in the program in the YouTube on both the days. You are welcome. Thank you. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.